It's 11:30 p.m., you are lying in bed, exhausted, ready to sleep. But suddenly, your brain decides to remind you of that awkward thing you said to a cashier 3 years ago. Or maybe it reminds you of a mistake you made at work last week. You replay the scene over and over. You think about what you should have said. You feel your chest get tight. You toss. You turn. Why does your brain do this? Why does it hold you hostage over things that no longer matter? The answer isn't that you are broken. It's actually a psychological glitch known as the rumination loop. Welcome to the psychology of overthinking. The word rumination comes from the Latin word ruminare, which means to chew over. It's the exact same term used to describe how a cow chews its food, swallows it, regurgitates it, and chews it all over again. And psychologically, that is exactly what you are doing with your thoughts. Rumination is the compulsive, hyper-focused attention on the symptoms of your distress, and its possible causes and consequences. You aren't trying to solve a math equation here. You are just passively chewing on your negative feelings, trying to figure out why you feel bad, which, ironically, only makes you feel worse. But to understand why we do this, we have to look inside the brain. Specifically, at a network called the default mode network, or the DMN. Your default mode network is a group of brain regions that activate when you are not focused on the outside world. It turns on when you are daydreaming, spacing out, or lying in bed trying to sleep. Think of the DMN like a background app on your phone. Even when your screen is off, it's running in the background, draining your battery. And what is this background app doing? It's reviewing your past social interactions. From an evolutionary standpoint, this was a brilliant survival mechanism. 200,000 years ago, if you said the wrong thing to the leader of your tribe, you didn't just feel embarrassed. You got kicked out of the tribe. And getting kicked out of the tribe meant death by predator or starvation. So, your brain evolved to constantly replay social errors to make sure you don't make them again. Your brain is trying to keep you alive. But in the modern world, it's just keeping you awake. This brings us to the second piece of the puzzle, negativity bias. Why is it that you can instantly recall 10 embarrassing things you've done, but you struggle to name 10 things you did perfectly? Because your brain weighs negative experiences much more heavily than positive ones. A compliment from your boss might feel good for an hour. But a criticism from that same boss can bother you for a week. Your default mode network searches your memory banks for things to review, and your negativity bias acts as a filter. It only pulls up the bad files. It ignores the folder labeled successes and people who like me, and opens the folder labeled cringe. Now, here is the most dangerous part of the rumination loop. It tricks you into thinking you are being productive. There is a massive difference between problem solving and worrying. Problem solving has a finish line. You identify the issue, you create a strategy, and you take action. Done. Worrying and rumination have no finish line. It is an infinite loop of what if and why did I. You feel like you are doing work, but you are actually just spinning your wheels in the mud, digging yourself deeper into anxiety. So, how do you break the loop? How do you turn off the background app? Here are 3 psychological tools you can use the next time your brain tries to sabotage your peace. Tool number 1. Schedule your worry. This sounds counterintuitive, but it works. When a thought pops up at 11 p.m., your brain is demanding attention. So, give it a specific time. Tell yourself, I hear you. We are going to think about this tomorrow at 4 p.m. Write it down on a piece of paper next to your bed. By externalizing the thought, you signal to your brain that the information is safely stored. It no longer needs to hold it in your working memory. You can close the tab. Tool number 2, cognitive diffusion. This is a technique from acceptance and commitment therapy. When you overthink, you usually fuse with your thoughts. You don't think, I am having a thought that I am an idiot. You think, I am an idiot. To break the loop, you must change the language. Whenever a painful memory arises, prefix it by saying in your head, I am having the thought that. I am having the thought that everyone at that meeting thought I was stupid. This creates immediate psychological distance. It reminds you that you are the observer of your thoughts, not the victim of them. You are the sky, and your thoughts are just clouds passing by. Tool number 3, sensory grounding. Rumination lives entirely in your head. It's abstract. To kill it, you have to anchor yourself back to the physical world using your body. When you catch yourself looping, use the 5-4-3-2-1 method. Look around the room and name 5 things you can see. 4 things you can physically feel, like the texture of your blanket. 3 things you can hear. 2 things you can smell. And 1 thing you can taste. This forces your brain to shift processing power away from the default mode network and into the present moment. The loop breaks. Your brain is an incredibly powerful tool. But without the right instructions, it will use that power against you. It will scan for threats that aren't there, and replay mistakes that no longer matter. Next time your brain tries to pull you into the rumination loop, remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the one who gets to decide which thoughts get your attention. You hold the remote control. Don't let your background apps drain your battery. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel for more psychology made simple. I'll see you in the next one.